It's funny as well to be talking about the pandemic because our studio guest at the moment, Deema Khunda, who is one of the stars of a brand new show about chess on the BBC, Chess Masters, The End Game, was talking about the pandemic and the role it played in getting her into chess. So delighted to say that Deema Khunda, the patient predator, that's the nickname she's been given on the show, joins us now. Do you choose your nicknames or were they given to you by the production team?
They were given to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have rather a more exciting nickname. It does describe my character, but also I'm a bit of a rule breaker or someone who will challenge the status quo. So when I was given patient predator, I thought, okay, I'll take it, but I'll prove you wrong sometimes.
I'm glad you did. Although could have been worse. She could have been Python. I don't want to know why he has been given that particular nickname.
He's not happy about it, I confirm.
Okay, I could tell. Now, so tell me a little bit about it, because you were saying that the pandemic actually did play a role in getting you into chess. In fact, this is where it all began. It's astonishing you've come so far in 5 years.
Yeah, in 5 years. And when I picked it up 5 years ago, I didn't know I'll be on the BBC talking about chess 5 years from now. So I was doing my PhD during the March 2020, and my PhD was experimental, but the lab shut down due to lockdowns, and it was going to remain shut down for several months. And I needed to pick up something that was mentally challenging. I'm the kind of person who loves to solve puzzles, loves to be constantly mentally stimulated. I couldn't sit at home and watch the telly as the advice was given to students at uni. When we were students at university, I remember the atmosphere and the message that was given to us is you're one of the least groups of society who are suffering because you're not vulnerable. There's a higher risk to the elderly from this virus, so you can just easily sit at home. I think that advice was incorrect. I think we're seeing the impact of it on Gen Z today. Many of them love to work from home, and many of them are suffering mental health issues. The pandemic played a part in that. But the result of the lockdowns on me personally is that I picked up this hobby again, mainly online, but also when I meet with friends in parks, when we had our social bubbles, I play chess with my social bubble. And that's where it all started. I didn't stop since. I just continuously progressed from one level to another.
But you've got so good so quickly to have you learned it as a kid but didn't really play it. To go to playing at a competition standard within a few years, that's extraordinary, really. What a trajectory. So how did you come to be part of the TV show?
It was by complete coincidence, actually. I was in a tournament once in Leicester. I drove 2 female friends of mine, and we were the only women in those tournaments. The only women in that tournament were in my car. And during the break between matches, I went to the canteen just to get myself a drink, and I bumped into one of the producers who just was chatting to me, and she said, actually, we're making a contest about chess. Would you like to be in it? This is for the BBC. At first, I thought this is a prank. This person wants to have my email and my picture. Is this for real? But then I saw her card and I confirmed her identity, and I said, yeah, absolutely, I want to be in it. And I think she was impressed by my story into chess and how quickly I improved. So that's how I managed to get involved in the show.
Well, your life is quite a story, isn't it? I mean, you're here on a student visa, aren't you? You grew up in war-torn Iraq, yeah. Right there in the middle of a war, and it must be hard for you to see what's been happening in your home since you left. When did you leave?
I left Iraq in 2014. Right at the time, July 2014, when ISIS took over half of the country's landmass.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that it was the same time that I received a scholarship from Newcastle University that was so generous. And I thought, well, it sounds like a great opportunity. Let me just take it and see where the wind will take me. Just a correction, I currently moved from the student visa to the skilled worker visa.
Oh, okie dokies. Beg pardon. So yeah, no, as long as we know. So it was a student visa that brought you here. Now you're a skilled worker, and we're pleased to have you here. And obviously your skills are incredible, but it must be really hard for you to see what's happening at home.
Horrible, yeah. Especially the recent events in Syria. I mean, I've lived parts of my life in Syria. Syria was our go-to country when we needed to flee Iraq. Actually, my life was lived in several countries between Iraq, Syria, and Jordan, depending which was the safest to go to at the time.
Oh, yikes.
And I just want to say what's happening in Syria completely broke my heart, because we thought right after the fall of Assad, is this an opportunity that we could put sectarian violence behind us? We had the past 20 years, both Iraq and Syria were embroiled in Sunni Shia sectarian violence. And then came the massacre of minorities in Syria just a week ago. And I have Alawi friends, I have Christian Syrian friends who are completely terrified. This was a massacre on basis of identity, not on basis of politics, so they don't know where to go. So it was hard to live through. And all I can do is just play a part in ensuring that we don't pass this violence on to the next generation. I meet many young Iraqis today when I travel to Iraq, and a lot of them are just so keen to flip a page, almost like what happened in Japan after the Hiroshima bomb was dropped.
Just move on.
We have to move on. We have no choice but to move on. So this is, I think, where my responsibility lies, is we become like the gatekeepers of the violence that we lived through as teenagers and children. We don't pass it on to the next generation.
Children shouldn't be living through that. I can't even, Deema. Gosh, talk about suffering. We talk about how tricky 5 years of the pandemic was, and you going from one war-torn place to find another place that's less dangerous is something we can't even get our heads around. So the pandemic then has led you to this new career. You're on the telly. Have you presumably you're pleased with the programme, watching yourself on the television? That must be quite surreal, seeing the show that you're part of.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it really hard to watch myself on the telly, I admit. You'll see me being very cautious and very reserved in those television moments. I'm not going to be the one who flips the board over or who's going to stand up and shout. I'm going to be the person who's going to try and win over my opponent with slow tactics and study. I like to know my opponent very well. You'll find me more staring into their eyes rather than flipping the board or just standing up at the table or shouting. That's not me.
Well, look, we'll look forward to seeing it. BBC 2 tonight, 8 o'clock, and on the iPlayer as well. Deema, thank you so much for coming in to see us, and best of luck with your future chess career. It'd be interesting to see how cool chess can be. Queen's Gambit sort of kicking it all off, and it I'm sure will grow from here. 12 minutes to 11 now.